this training and we have to do it and we have to complete it and we have to get employees to attend to the training and get a certificate. It's sort of completion focused. It's about doing the task. If you introduce, again, call it gamification or something else, the consideration that on the other side of the L&D spectrum are the people receiving the training, receiving the learning, having that experience themselves, you start considering and saying, oh, it's not just about them having to do it because we pay them to do it, so we're the company, we tell them what to do, which is fine. I mean, that's not untrue. Mm-hmm. But you think that there's a human on the other side, and how do you convince them or sell them the idea or get them to actually pay attention and be interested in this? Because again, sometimes the mandatory training is about, I don't know, typical sexual harassment, right? Which is a very thorny thing in workplaces, right? But it's mandatory. It's not mandatory because somebody is a jerk and put it as a mandatory thing. It's mandatory because it's important, right? So how do you get people not just to fill and sign the form that they attended the mandatory training, but to actually execute those behaviors, which is where L&D can go to the next level as well, right? It's not just about completing and the function of, you know, you went to a training and I have the list that says 125 of our employees went. It's, well, how are those 125 employees actually applying whatever it is mandatory or not mandatory that they went through? So that's next level that in my opinion, L&D should be going for, because it makes it more relevant to the market, more strategic. And in terms of what people are typically interested in these kinds of things, the department is able to achieve greater levels of, you know, budget and able to do more things and be more strategic, because it's how does L&D, you know, enable the company to achieve its objectives. You're an enabler of those objectives. You're maybe not the operations who is actually executing, you know, the sales or whatever that looks like. You are enabling operations to do that. You're enabling finance to do their work better. You're enabling marketing to do whatever they have to do, right? And that is where I think L&D can make their role so much more relevant and actually have a real shot at having, you know, those CLOs sitting at the board, right? The Chief Learning Officer. Why? Because it's strategic. It's important for the company to continue to learn and to adapt to whatever is coming out. And this could be from the manufacturing plant all the way up to a tech startup. This is very important because it lets you actually enable your employees to get better, to do their things better, to comply with the law, to come up with better ideas. Innovation is born in a place of learning as well, and in play spaces in that sense. So this can be very, very strategic, in my opinion. And that is something that I do think gamification can help a lot in, because you actually, from the start, you don't only, you have, of course, in your back mind, all of those learning objectives. What do you want to achieve with that training? And you're always sort of building on top of that. Or you're also thinking, how am I getting people to actually learn this and then be able to apply it? Because if you just think about, oh, they need to learn this, if it has no application in the workplace, why are they taking the learning in the first place? Okay, so those are kind of the reflections that I get from these.